Hi everybody. As part of the Starting Solids little mini series I'm doing here, I thought I would end it with a little piece on choking. I am a paramedic. I've been like a basic care BLS paramedic for 12 years, and I've been on the fire department for about 8, just over 8. And so I've been to a lot of calls where parents they called 911 because their baby was choking, and it can be very, very scary. And there are things that you can do aside from calling 911 when you're waiting for help to arrive. I'm going to just show you the choking. I'm not going to go over CPR, and this is not to replace any class. I highly recommend that all parents do take the time to take a basic course on CPR and infant CPR. And they'll cover more detail of exactly what you need to do. So this is not to replace that. This is not giving you any certification in any way. This is just me as a mother with experience and also my paramedic background. I am just wanting to reach out to families who are starting solids because I know that this will probably help at least a few of you in the future. And it is scary, so it's nice to have some information. So before I pick Ellis up here and go through what you would do, I want to talk about the foods. So baby-led weaning is something that I've been focusing on, and it can be messy. They break off big chunks, like we give him full pieces of like broccoli, things like that. And they're really just learning how to handle it and put it in their mouth, and sometimes they do take off bigger bites, and it can be scary. So babies naturally, when they eat, they move their tongue forward to eject food. That's why this process happens, and it takes a long time for them to learn how to swallow the food. So don't start solids until your baby is ready. They need to be able to sit upright on their own, and then taking the time to practice getting foods to their mouth. Sorry, I'm just gonna get him another little cracker. Here, bud. Here you go. And so being mindful of the foods. It's okay for babies to have like a big chunk of broccoli that they're just going to like suck on and gnaw on, or like a piece of meat, something like that. Where you want to avoid, major choking hazards are like cutting up grapes into quarters, like hot dogs, things like that. Another really common choking hazard for babies is parents will think it's funny to give them a balloon, like a blown up balloon, and quite often babies will hold it and they'll kind of put their face to it and sometimes bite it because they have new teeth and they like to bite everything. And that's actually the #1 choking hazard is balloons that have been bit, because as you know, when you pop a balloon or someone breaks a balloon, pieces of that balloon kind of fly everywhere, and they're like it's like rubber flap, right? So if a baby bit it and it flew into their mouth, that easily could trap off their entire airway. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of the foods that you're offering. And when you're feeding your baby, it's important that you're there and present with them, that you don't feed them and then walk away. It's different, obviously, when your child becomes more older and they're more capable of eating on their own. But at this stage, it's really important that you watch them and that you're there in case something does happen. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is you're going to notice your baby's going to gag. They're going to gag and they're going to cough, and that's a natural part of learning how to eat. And so it can be scary. When it's okay is if there's an effective cough. So if your baby is kind of gagging and they start choking on something or coughing on something, that's just partially blocked. They still have air movement, so they're able to take a deep breath to cough, to help get it up. That's an effective cough. In that instance, you want to encourage your baby to cough. So I can't really say to Ellis like, oh, keep coughing, buddy. He doesn't really understand what I'm saying. But by encouraging him, I'm going to try to remain calm. If I need to remove this seat and help move him forward a little bit, you could rub their back gently. Don't do any back blows at this point. You want to encourage that coughing, that natural cough. That's a natural reflex to protect their airway. If they have good airflow to get behind that cough to try and get it out, and you do whack them on the back, or some parents will be like, it's okay, cough, 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 and they'll do this to their back. What happens is any air they're breathing in, you're forcing it out by pushing on their back. Or if they dislodge it and you whack their back, it may cause them to breathe it back in, okay? Something else that you can do before we get into doing the back blows and chest thrusts are if you can see the object. So if it's more just in their like cheek area, their mouth, and you can easily scoop that out, like it's visible, very easy, then of course get it out. If it's far back in their mouth, you don't want to risk pushing it further in, okay? So don't put your fingers in and try to scoop it out if it's really far back. Just encourage them to cough it out naturally. If it's close and you can just kind of scoop it out, then do so for sure, okay? So where we get into calling 911 and doing the back blows and chest thrusts is if they have, it's okay bud, if they have an ineffective cough. Actually, I'm gonna take him out now. I'll just hold him. Come here, bud. So an ineffective cough would be a silent cough. So where they're just kind of like, not even making that noise, like they're just, their mouth is open, their eyes are big, they're trying to, there's something clearly stuck, but they're still conscious. So that would be an ineffective cough. And of course there are more signs as well, such as different sounds in their airway, but this is something that you would get more detail from taking a full class. So if they aren't having any air flow and they're not able to actually cough it out, that's when we are going to do the chest thrusts and the back blows. Okay, bud? So I'm of course not going to actually do it to my son, but I just wanted to go through the motions with you, and then I'll show you on a doll. So first thing, after they've tried to cough and they can't, or it's dislodged, then you're going to call 911. So when you call 911, put your phone on speaker, put it down. They're going to stay on the line with you. That way they can help remind you of what to do, and you won't be like this trying to do back blows, right? So speaker right away, put it somewhere close by, and that way you can continue doing what you need to do while staying in contact with dispatch until help arrives. Okay, so let's pretend he had an ineffective cough. He is almost 7 months. He's still pretty tiny, but it's easier if you're sitting. So, yes, buddy, yes, he may fight it because he's not choking, but you want to help support their little head, right? You want to support their head. You want their head lower than their body, hey bud? And we don't want to drop them, right? And you also don't want to hold their neck, so hold their face like this. Okay, so actually, you know what? Follow me to my couch and we'll do this, the rest of it, on my couch where I can sit. Okay, so I've taken him out of the high chair. 911 is on route and they're on standby. I'm going to lean him forward like this. You could do it on your forearm or your lap. Sorry, bud. And you're going to do 5 back blows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to roll him over, just like this. Use your legs to support. In between his 2 nipples, you're going to do 5 chest thrusts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you just roll him over, holding his little face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, bud. Okay. So you're going to continue doing 5, flipping over 5, until he either goes unconscious or the object comes out. Okay? Once your baby, if this, God forbid happens, does go unconscious, then you would then begin CPR. And so this is why I really encourage families to take a CPR class so that you know how to properly do it. Okay? Because I'm not going to cover that. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm just going to set him right here. Your butt. So with the back blows, you're not smacking down like this. If you can see from this angle, you're going like this. Does that make sense? not like this, forward motion, and firm like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rolling over with 2 fingers in between the nipples on the breastbone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll over, repeat. Okay? And make sure that you look in their airway as well, because if you can, again, see that object, get it out. If it's really far back, this is why letting gravity help. Even just moving them from this motion to this motion sometimes can dislodge objects. So have their butt up higher. That's where holding them on your forearm or your leg to help support. And that's basically it. So hopefully this helps families feel a little more secure when it comes, when it comes to starting solids. This is my 3rd baby, and it doesn't get easier for sure. Like, it's always scary when you start solids because you want to give them the freedom to learn how to eat food. But quite often they do gag and they choke every now and then. And so having this confidence, I hope that it helps you, you and your family. And please remember that this is not a class by any means. This is just me helping you. And I do encourage you to take a class to further your education. Alrighty, thanks. Thank you so much for watching my video. Remember to subscribe below and let me know, was this video helpful to you? Yes or no? Make sure you let me know in the comments if it was helpful, or if there's anything you would like to see on my page, comment below and I will do my best to create some content for you. But again, remember, subscribe. That's how you'll keep up to date with everything I post.